Hi guys, welcome back to the Butterfly Effect podcast. So just over a year ago we started playing The Devil in Me. It's the 1 year anniversary, a little bit past that anyway. So we thought we'd revisit The Devil in Me and make a Devil in Me video. So we've done our Forgive series where we discussed whether we forgive the likes of Mike Monroe from Until Dawn, Ben from the Walking Dead game. We've got Was Emma Wrong to Kiss Nick? And now we're going to do we forgive the Ferryman? So, I mean, Jack, I'll throw the mic to you. Tell us a little bit about why we're covering the Ferryman and what he did in The Devil in Me.
Well, you know that we like to cover grey characters, don't we, from these interactive games, and I feel like this one is it's staring us right in the face as to why we do it, because I mean, you've got the whole ultimatum ending, which we can go into, but I mean, you think of like the premise of what Morello did in terms of bringing the Lonnet crew over to the island, and it was basically, he was under false pretenses. He was pretending to be Dumet, trying to sell them this experience of the H.H. Holmes replica hotel, and then they were going to go there and get lots of footage and stuff for their documentary, which would be good for them, etc, etc. But of course he knew all along that A, he wasn't Dumet, and B, it was basically to lure them there to basically their deaths, and he knew that. But I suppose where the interesting debate comes into this is because if you have seen the ultimatum ending, you'll know that he does tell Mark and Kate that basically he did it because he had to save his daughter. He said, I had no choice, I had to do it to save my daughter. So I suppose what we're really going to be talking about here is like, should he be forgiven for that? Can we understand his reasoning, or should he maybe sort of been like, no, I'm not going to facilitate this, I'm going to take the hit, if you get what I mean.
That's completely it. And honestly, I'm just going to say it. The side I'm leaning to is, I guess I forgive him. Because, I mean, it is a very difficult situation to be in. And it's like you say, maybe you don't forgive him at the start, but when Mark lands himself in that boat, right, where you might find yourself in the ultimatum ending. Now, you can choose, oh yeah, no, I don't want to do that because, like, I'm probably going to endanger the lives of, like, 5 or whatever so people. However, this is a ticket that I could use to get out. He doesn't know that it's a double loss, basically. So, theoretically, the better option probably is to just refuse Demet's request. However, I guess my school of thought is that when you look at Mark, it's him and someone else as well. Like, Demet's quite clever because they put you and a loved one in that situation where you almost think, to save me and a loved one. In Morello's case, it was a daughter. In Mark's case, it's his ex, newly found love, whatever it was. You probably take that chance, right? Because you're at your hostage mercy. Like, surely that is the correct option to go for.
I think so as well. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's a part of me though, like, I mean, because I have got like a couple of things down here to go the other way. And this is where I think it's so interesting, because if you look at this, and I think this is where the question comes in, like, should he be forgiven? For me, I think it's who's doing the forgiving. Like, if it's us, complete outsiders where this doesn't impact, then of course, then we'll say, yeah, we can forgive, and looking at the context, absolutely. If you're looking at the eyes of the law, though, like, in the eyes of the law, he facilitated it. He knew what the consequences were going to be for that crew arriving at the island. He knew what Demet was up to. And, just because he had the whole situation with his daughter around his neck, that does mean that he's an accomplice of Demet in the eyes of the law. So I think, looking at it from that angle, I think it does make things very interesting. But if you're speaking from me personally, then yeah, I think I would forgive him. I would say though that, like, because I know obviously it's part of the script that they have to surrender their phones, right? But I do wonder, because Dumet's not there, when they first arrive on the island,
Yeah.
Like, do you think, like, maybe like he could have maybe whispered to one of them, like, because just something's really sus here, especially when they start questioning him, like, what's with all the signs outside, he's acting really cagey, really fidgety, and just suspicious in general. maybe that would be the time to be like, something is going on, but like, do you know what I mean? You've almost got to play along, or like, you know, just to give them some sort of inkling. But then on the flip side, you can understand why, because do you know what I mean? He's fearful, right? Like, his daughter's life's at stake. So I think, it's such a good debate as to whether he gets forgiven or not. It's just, you know, like I say, it depends who's doing the forgiving.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe Dumet has his daughter and then gives them up until the 5 people were in the house, potentially. Like, that's the only sort of thing I can think about getting around that kind of little potential plot hole there. But yeah, I do get what you mean. Like, jumping back to what you said about him being an accomplice, I mean, he definitely is, right? But I do think, like, when you're Mark, and if you find yourself in that ultimatum ending, and you're pinned with that choice, do you make the phone call or not? Now, I've only seen playthroughs of that ending. I've not found myself in that situation because I've only played the game once and I didn't get that ending. However, I do think the majority of players are going through with it and continuing the cycle, because whether it's to save Kate, but I think the main thing as well, it's like Morello, Mark, whoever the ferryman is going to be, is pinned into a corner. They are an accomplice, but they're pinned into a corner. And I feel like there's that whole fight or flight thing where, in the name of survival, I feel the majority of people are picking up the phone. And again, I'm going to put ourselves in the ferryman's shoes. I think, mate, if it was you and Laura was in Kate's shoes, you would probably pick up the phone if it meant a chance or a sliver at survival for the both of you. So yeah, I don't know what you think about that, mate.
Oh, 100%, 100%, and that's what, and it's so unfair, isn't it? Like, when they, it's like that sort of burst of freedom, they run, they get to the boat, they start to get away. And I would question that though, like, just as a minor, like, little nitpick on my end, is that, like, why does the guy, like, he lets them get out a little bit, he then obviously uses the controls to bring the boat back. Why does he then stand there with a sniper to kill them? Like, where he could, like, risk, obviously he's got a silencer on it, but, like, just the risk of getting seen. Like, you're bringing the boat back anyway, just, like, let the boat rock up and then you could finish with them, like, a little bit more quietly. But minor nitpick over. But yeah, it is one of those situations where, like, you're between a rock and a hard place, and it's sort of like you've got to almost look out for your own interests in that situation and just hope for everybody else, which does sort of suck, because then you look at Mark at the end and he's clearly, like, welcoming some, like, young family onto the island. There's, like, a little girl running around and stuff. So yeah, like, when he says things like, I've just delivered them to their deaths and I've got no choice in the matter, like, you can understand it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. To go back to the floor thing you mentioned as well, mate, it's just the fact that, like, I think it's Jamie who sees, Morello and the daughter escape. It's like, why were they checked into a room that can see the boat escape? Like, surely you've got the power, because you've got the whole house. You can check them into rooms at the back of the hotel. Why are you choosing the one with the absolute grand vision where you can, like, see the plan? And, you know, like, you see that little girl at the end in the ultimatum ending look out the window, right? So, like, yeah, no, massive flaw on that one, mate. I completely agree with you on that one. But yeah, no, I just think I'd do the same. If I was the ferryman and I found myself in that boat and I had a loved one on the table, in that trap, I would be at the hostage's mercy. And I'd think, well, I'm going to die. If this guy's giving me a chance, I'll have to take it, because we don't know that he's going to go against it and kill us anyway. I mean, most likely will anyway, but if there's a sliver of chance at survival for you and a loved one, I feel you have to leap at it. And it's why I don't feel aggrieved with Morello or Mark in the slightest. For me, I just think this is the work of a serial killer. And if we want to be mad at anyone, you just have to be mad at Dumet, really, for setting this whole mastermind, masterpiece, whatever you want to call it, trap up for everyone. So yeah, I forgive Morello, and yeah, I think any malice needs to be targeted at the serial killer.
Absolutely, and I think I'm in the same place.
Okay, guys, well, that is the end of the video. Obviously, Jack and I are in the same opinion here, that we forgive Morello. We think the ferryman was just in a difficult situation, a difficult place, and if we were in their shoes, we would have done the same thing. Maybe we're completely wrong, and I'd love to know if anyone in the comments does not forgive Morello whatsoever. Because I do get it from a philosophical point of view as well. Maybe you should think, oh, well, we're just 2 people, you're inviting on 5 more, it's worse. I do get that school of thought. Maybe someone thinks that. So yeah, tell us, guys, what you think. And if there are any other Forgive series you'd like us to cover, please let us know in the comments. But thank you very much, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Catch you later.